In this lesson, we'll learn transition. It lets us update the state without blocking the user interface. So to be more specific, it keeps the current page usable while the new page is being created. First, we empty the h2 tag. We set its inner text by generating a random number. Now, please note I set this random number for demonstration purposes only. If we want to change the random number, we have to refresh the page. The idea here is to use this random number as an indicator, meaning if we see a new random number, it means a new page has been created. According to what we've learned, all components must be rendered before the new page can be created, but sometimes rendering a component can take a while. Let's artificially slow down the inner component. We set a delay of half a second. Then we create a list using the inner component. We install it 5 times, thereby creating a list of 5 items. With each item taking half a second, the entire list would take 2.5 seconds, which means the page would take 2.5 seconds to be updated. The new random number shows up 2.5 seconds after the file is saved, which proves the new page takes 2.5 seconds to be created. We declare a new state variable, install. We set its initial value to no. Then we install the list conditionally, demanding the install value to be yes. We add a button and name it Install. We reset the install value to yes. Then we add a console log statement to mark that the install button has been clicked. We add another button and name it Test. We only console log the button name here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click the Install button first. The page will take 2.5 seconds to be updated, and during this time, I'll click the Test button. As you can see, the Test button cannot be clicked while the list is being created. Now let me repeat what I just did. When the new page is under construction, the browser still shows the current page, but it doesn't allow us to operate it. And this is designed on purpose so that the new page can be created without interference. Sometimes, though, we need to keep the current page usable while the new page is being created. And the solution for that is startTransition. We remove setInstall. We run startTransition and pass it a callback. This callback provides space for state setters, so we bring back the previous setInstall. Now, yes is not only a new state value, it's also a transition, and this makes quite a difference. We can see now that the test button is clickable while the new page is being created. And obviously, the potential here is great. We rename the test button Cancel. We call setInstall and pass Cancel to it. The idea here is to cancel the list before it's fully created. Now let's try the program. We can see that our plan worked. The list has been canceled, but there's also an unsettling discovery. After the cancel button was clicked, the outer component was re-rendered not once, but twice. So why is there a second rendering? To answer this question, we need to view another scenario where a second state value is involved. We declare a new state variable. We name it dark and set its initial value to false. Dark means the dark theme, also known as the night mode, where the page uses a darker background and a lighter text color. In the div tag, we add the style attribute. We set the background color based on dark. Then we set the text color the same way. We add a new button and name it Change Theme, and we use it to reverse the value of dark. Now I'll click the Install button first, and then change the theme before the list is created. We can see here that the dark theme was set first, and the list showed up afterward. After the theme button was clicked, the outer component was rendered twice. The first one set the dark theme, and the second one created the list. Both renders are needed this time. But our job is not done yet. We need to dig a little deeper. We output the install value. Then we display the console table in full to view the whole process. After the install button was clicked, the construction of the new page began, but it was interrupted by the theme button being clicked. When the outer component was re-rendered for the first time, the install value was no. Does this surprise you? I mean, didn't we already set it to yes? Let's repeat what we just did. When the theme button is clicked, the random number above remains unchanged, which means we're still operating the initial page. So in other words, we're setting the initial page to the dark theme. This is why after the theme button is clicked, the outer component is re-rendered with the install value set to no, because it's the initial page that's being updated. The second rendering then follows without delay, and the install value has become yes, allowing the list to be created. Now, this is what we want, but how did it happen? Yes is what made it happen. The Install button calls setInstall, setting yes as the new state value, but it does so via startTransition, which means yes is also a transition. The new page, created by a transition, can be interrupted halfway, but it will restart once the interruption is over. This is why the list can be rebuilt after the new theme is set. So, based on what we've learned, let's take another look at what happens after we cancel a list. The Install button runs setInstall via startTransition, making yes a transition, which triggers the final page update. But here, yes has become cancel. So, how did this happen? First of all, cancel is the value we need. If it was still yes, the list that was supposed to be canceled would be brought back. The Cancel button changes the install value to cancel, and this value is also used to update the transition. This way, the final page update that's caused by the transition won't use an outdated value. Notice that there is a hook named useTransition. It does the same job as startTransition, but it offers an extra feature. useTransition doesn't take an argument. The value it returns is an array with two elements. By convention, the first element is named isPending, and the second one, startTransition. The syntax of the new startTransition is the same as the old one. We still pass it a callback and run state setters there. All right, let's try the program. We click the Install button and wait. Notice anything different this time? There's an extra rendering of the outer component where the install value is still no, the same as the initial page. Let's repeat what we just did. The random number on the initial page is 507. A new random number shows up right away, which means a new page is created right after the Install button is clicked. Users will continue to see this page while the list is being created, which makes it the best place to show a waiting notification. I'll refer to this page as the middle page, as opposed to the initial page and the final page. The waiting notification should only be displayed on the middle page. Any idea how to make this happen? The solution is isPending. We output isPending. On the initial page, the value of isPending is false, but it becomes true on the middle page. Then it goes back to false on the final page. So, any ideas? We create a condition using isPending. This way, we can set page elements that are only shown on the middle page. We add an h2 tag to show a waiting notification. We can see the waiting notification shows up after the Install button is clicked, and it disappears once the final page is created. The whole process is automatic and without delay. Now, let's apply and practice what we've learned. I have predefined two components to simulate two pages. The home component is used by the initial page. The list component is used by the list page. It's made of 5 inner components, and each inner component takes half a second to be ready. As a result, if users switch to the list page, they'll have to wait for 2.5 seconds. We find the list button and remove set choice. We run startTransition and bring back the original set choice. For demonstration purposes, we console log list button clicked. Now, users can return to the home page before the list is ready. When the list page is being created, we want to disable the list button. Any idea how we do this? We run useTransition to create the isPending flag. Next, we go to the list button. We add the disabled prop and set its value using isPending. And now we can see the list button is disabled while the list is being created. Next, let's interrupt the list page. After we click the list button, the outer component was re-rendered 4 times. This is quite costly. Is it possible to lower the cost? Look at startTransition. It's passed to the button component as a prop value, which means it's the button component that uses startTransition, not the outer component. Re-rendering a smaller component costs less than re-rendering a bigger one. Any ideas here? We remove useTransition from the outer component. Next, we go to the button component. We run useTransition first. We reset the onClick attribute with startTransition. As for the disabled attribute, I don't want to change it. In this case, we return an alternate template. We add an if statement and check is pending. If it's true, we return a button tag. We disable the button tag and set its inner text to loading. We can see now the list button is disabled while the list is being created. Next, let's interrupt the list page. This time, after the list button is clicked, the outer component has only been re-rendered twice. So to summarize, useTransition should be placed in a smaller component. Re-rendering a smaller component is less costly than re-rendering a larger one.